Hey guys, welcome to the weekly heavyweight update. In this section, I go over the heavyweights of the market. So think Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, Google, Amazon, CrowdStrike, ServiceNow, and I also go over Palantir and Hood and a few other names, right? This is going to be the standard setup moving forward. So if you trade these names like I do regularly, like, subscribe, share, comment, give me some feedback, and ideally we can work together to trade the market well each week. All right, let's get to it. Firstly, Microsoft. We are 8% away from all-time highs. It got hit. Tech got hit. Everything got hit last week. Well, maybe not last week. Friday specifically. Specifically for me on Microsoft, I was looking over 520, right? This 520 area was pretty obvious. And, I said over 520, I would take a shot at it. I did. I think I took a shot on it on Tuesday, but I took a quick loss on it, which is fine. I managed my risk. I didn't get blown out of the water or anything like that. I actually had a green week last week, despite Friday. And that was because I was out Microsoft, and I just didn't catch anything else. And so looking at it, you can see that, since earnings, it's gotten crushed. I wouldn't say gotten crushed, but it hasn't done anything. It has this nice rounding bottom here. Again, why I was looking at 520, we can just educated guess. We'll go there, right? I wanted it to break that, hold this. Ideally, Thursday was a beautiful bottoming candle. It looked good, just did not follow through whatsoever on Friday due to global/macro news, right? So I was looking for the breakout, the retest, and then the move on up. Did not do that. It's at the 50 EMA at the moment. Again, white line is 8 EMA. The blue line is 21 EMA. The yellow line is 50 EMA. And then this pinkish is 200 EMA. All right. All right, let's move on to Nvidia. Nvidia got hit on the news too. We're just expecting this, right? So we're 6.37% off of all-time highs. It got hit nearly 5% on Friday. It just cranked through the 8 EMA if you use that stuff. It's now it held on to the 21 EMA by a thread. But you can see the 50 EMA, the short-term EMAs, the 200 EMA, all of that is trending upwards. So remember, the trend is your friend until it dies in the end. And so everything points upwards. And now that we have Trump saying, hey, don't worry about China, it's going to be fine. We're going to be eyeing what futures is going to do tomorrow and then the open tomorrow. Because in my mind, what could potentially happen is that a lot of people could have shorted here, especially shorted down here at the bottom. Then you get a gap up on Monday because you risked news over the weekend. And then those shorts are quote unquote trapped, right? Nobody's actually trapped. If somebody wants to get out, whether they're short or long, they're going to do it. Either way, when a short is in the hole, when they shorted in the hole, and then you get a gap up of X percentage against you, the tendency is going to be want to cover. So those new shorts covering are going to end up being buyers. And ideally, if you're long, that pushes the market higher because they're buyers, right? And then you have more people coming in and buying, and that pushes price up even more, right? That has a potential for a quote unquote short squeeze. So we'll see. You can also treat this as a breakout and retest. This is how I made money last week. I took the breakout and then the retest here. And then per my process, it gave me an entry signal. And then I held it and I sold it on Thursday. Or no, I'm sorry, I sold it on Friday because I didn't want to, because of the headline actually. I took my gains and I was happy with it and did not sit through this huge 5% dip. So this could just be another retest, right? We'll see. Apple, I have been waiting for this to break out to new all-time highs for this amount of time, for like 2.5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then Friday got crushed, closed below the 21. The 50 EMA is down here in the yellow. You could, this might just come down to the support area, potential support area here. That's how I'm looking at it. I don't know how to, maybe this just chops around, creates a higher low versus this 226, and then build some energy to break into all-time highs. Overall, though, I don't know why Apple made this move. From my understanding, the Apple, the the tech thing that they had a couple of weeks ago. Words are hard. Sorry, I can't think about it right now. It wasn't anything crazy. It wasn't anything awesome. They're still struggling to like put AI into their products. And I've heard the coolest thing was their earbuds that translate automatically, which is pretty cool. But like, is that really enough to drive this? I don't know. So I don't understand why Apple's up here. They're kind of lacking in innovation, in my opinion. If you think I'm wrong, please correct me. Comment below. Okay, let me know. Amazon's been a little tricky. I am looking at this level right here to really hold. However, with a look like this, everything is getting hit. This is basically in indecision mode. You can see all these lines, they're kind of scrambling together. There's no direction. There's an obvious direction here. There is not an obvious direction here. And when you trade, you want things to be easy. You want it to be obvious. You don't want to force things because otherwise you run the risk of getting chopped up and putting unnecessary money at risk, right? So you have to know when to be there. Amazon is not a place I want to be. Well, let me go here. Microsoft has potential area I want to be. Nvidia is an area I would want to be. Apple, not interested. Amazon, not interested. All right, let's go to Broadcom. Coming at the 50 EMA. This had a nice push, breakout to all-time highs. It was geared on the juice was coming from earnings. However, I have been kind of speculating that we might get a gap fill. We bled into the gap, as you can see. However, it didn't fill all the way. So we still have all the way to 308.78 until that gap is filled. So maybe maybe Monday we get that. However, with the news, I'm not sure what Monday is going to come. I'm going to err on the cautious side, to be honest with you. Meta just not looking good. It's not good. You can kind of call this like a double top, quasi double top here. This area is resistance. Okay. It has now officially filled the earnings gap and is now downtrending, hitting the 21 declining EMA underneath the 50 EMA. I've been saying that the 200 EMA is in play. In my opinion, it still is. We'll see if that actually happens. However, also, we have a potential area of support. As you can see, where did it hit here? It hit here, right? So it's pretty obvious. That area was obvious. It's not obvious what it was going to do, but it was obvious that it was a potential area of support, and then you kind of monitor and manage what happens from there. Netflix, I have not been interested in Netflix. This is just choppy indecision, kind of looks like a head and shoulders look, but it ultimately failed. So from failed moves comes fast move, and you hit end range. It's just chopping around. This is not easy to trade. I'm not interested. Tesla, I have been interested in it. However, it has been a little hard to play to trade. It is closed below the 21 EMA, so you get a little cautious here. The 50 EMA is around this 388, 389 area. We are 15% away from all-time highs. You're up to almost 2.5% on the year. This right here, everybody was, pointing this pattern out. It took forever, and everybody was adjusting their lines. That's why you don't really trade lines too much, right? Or at least you shouldn't, in my opinion. But either way, the trend is up. I just don't like this rounding here. The rounding is not my favorite type of look. But we'll see what actually happens with it. It's always in play for me. It's a volatile name. It moves. I trade Tesla often when it is appropriate to trade and when it's in play. Google has been super strong. One of the strongest names in the market. Closed underneath the 21 EMA. It could tag the 50. However, we'll see what actually happens on Monday. CrowdStrike hit prior supply area. So we shouldn't be super surprised that we got that. Right? A lot of people front run these areas, so I don't buy into this. What I would like is for these higher lows to continue on, maybe build up a little energy and then break this out. But I have been saying ever since this day right here, September 18th, CrowdStrike is in play. Enter volatility. Where volatility goes, I go. And I recommend that you do that also, even though this is not financial advice, by the way. But I was looking for this, right? The bounce off of some short-term EMA, SMA, whatever you want to call it, and look for a continued move up. We got that. I actually didn't trade it at all, which is fine, whatever. The plan worked out. I just didn't have an opportunity to execute my plan on the overall look. ServiceNow, this was my favorite look coming into the week to short, actually. What I like about it is this consolidation area here. If I draw you a little box, it has closed below this box, and it has the potential to continue on down. I could see it maybe hitting this low 878.19, and then maybe this low, and then potentially this area, right? If it wants to kind of continue momentum and maybe hit some stop losses that are down there to continue the momentum downwards. I don't know, potentially. Or other scenario is from failed moves comes fast moves. So it breaks this consolidation low. It doesn't do anything with it. It has no follow through to the downside. And so where does it go? Back up the opposite way. All right. So that's potential on the docket for this week. We'll see what actually happens. Palantir, this just got bought up from the news of not like 2 days ago Friday, from the week prior Friday, of it having like a security leak, gap up, and did nothing but get bought up for the entire week. But then Friday, of course, got hit. So either way, this is still trending up. The trend is our friend. What I'm going to be looking for is a breakout into all-time high. As it chops around here in this area, like, I'm not super interested in it. The risk of being chopped up and losing capital due to chop is too high for me. It's not worth it. When I put on a trade, I want it to mean something. I just don't want to risk money to risk money. It's not worth it, in my opinion. All right, Robinhood has been awesome. This trend is obviously up. The short-term EMAs are obviously trend tracking. The 50 EMA held here. We had a breakout of this box, basically. It did nothing for since, let's say, early July, chopped around, broke out, retested, and then continued on. So the pullbacks to the short-term EMAs I have on my chart, which is the 8, have been viable, but this is probably like a 10 SMA, a 9 EMA. You guys can argue what you want if you're going to. I don't care. It's an area. Again, look at these as just a direction. Which way is it going to go, right? Which way is the trend? I don't necessarily use them for execution. Okay, so those are the main 13 names that I trade every week. To go back over it, names I think that are in play. I do think Hood is in play, especially if it wants to continue up, especially on Monday. If we get a gap up, shorts could be squeezed here, right? PLTR, not super interested in this. ServiceNow, from failed moves comes fast moves. Potential is in play, so we could get a push higher here. Otherwise, I like this short. I'm just not confident that Monday is going to be the day to short. CrowdStrike, not super interested at the moment until it kind of breaks these all-time highs. Maybe if it builds out a little bit, I would enter somewhere at a higher low for it. It's not at the top of my list. Google, if Google gives me an entry, I want to be involved in Google. I tried to get involved around here somewhere, I believe, and then I took a small loss on it. But Google, I do think, is in play simply because of how strong it's been. A lot of people are going to be buying around this area simply because of the 21 EMA, right? Tesla, I think, is always in play. With the volatility, especially with this breakout, the trend is up at the moment. It's just kind of hard at the moment. We'll see what happens Monday morning. Netflix, not super interested. You can see it's chopping around. It's not doing much, okay? Meta, not interested on the long side. It's not easy enough for me. If anything, it's a short play in my opinion, but I'm not interested in shorting in this market. Let's go Broadcom. Not really interested. Amazon, chopping around, not super interested. Apple, potential, we'll see. I would like a little build out and then for it to start going up and maybe break all-time highs. Nvidia, I am interested in Nvidia. We'll see what breaks out. So you can treat this, and I'm going to treat this as a breakout retest. I'm just going to look for an entry signal in my process to do so. And then last but not least, Microsoft. This could I am interested in Microsoft. Again, still over 520. If it wants to fail this time, comes back down and gets back above that 520, I think it's in play. Hopefully these videos are valuable for you. If you guys have any comments, questions, if you have feedback for me, please comment. Let me know how I can make this more valuable for you. I'm going to be doing this every week because it helps me prepare to know where I need to be myself. So if you find it valuable, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Otherwise, trade safe, manage your risk, and be where you need to be. This is not financial advice per usual, for education and entertainment purposes only. I'll see you next week. Trade well.